I'm Sheridan Marshall, and this is a recording of my translation of the opening of Kaśka Bryla's novel, Die Eistaucher. 9. The campsite. I am outside sweeping up the first leaves when I see him in the distance. The sunlight is dazzling on one side, and I pause. The camping season is over, really. The only peculiar thing is that he is arriving so late. Yet there is still a sense of unease about him. That is something I have learned over time. First, to locate the feeling in your body, to name it, and then to figure out where it has come from. Now it happens automatically. After all, 20 years have passed since that time, although I remember most often in September. Sometimes I think that I am just imagining it all, that none of it really happened, and Franziska Fellbaum is living happily with Peter somewhere, and Jacob has grown up, not like our Jacob, who is still a child. If a day ends with this thought, I sleep peacefully, with no nightmares at all. In the nights that follow the other days, I hardly sleep, pulling Iga's longboard out from under the bed instead and riding it into the past. That is how you have to imagine it. He stands in front of me with a little dictionary and stammers. Nocleg? Ni mam namiot? Only now does he take off his rucksack, as though it would have been too risky before. What if I had sent him away immediately? Martin, he says, and offers me his hand. I say, Saša, and shake it. But we already know each other, I think. The way he stands there and smiles, leafing through his little dictionary. He is no older than me. Why doesn't he have a smartphone? Who doesn't have a smartphone in 2016? The rucksack and the shoes both brand new, as though he had bought the things just for the purpose of coming up the hill to my campsite and showing them to me. I say, the cabins are all vacant, further up the hill. The last, most beautiful one is right in front of the forest. Then I point north towards the cold. He nods. Anyone else would have said straight away, you speak German, with no accent, where are you from? But he knows, I think, although then the doubts come. It's just my imagination, I can't know that. How would I know? I'm mixing things up again. Today we live in a nature reserve, in paradise. Iga and Jess and Jacob and me. Almost a family, if you like. Raz comes once a year. Then we are complete. Even if I don't understand who Martin is yet and what he wants, at the sight of him, all doubts vanish, and I can say with certainty that nothing of what happened 20 years ago is a product of my imagination. None of it can be changed anymore, despite the longboard, despite our goodwill. Excuse me, he says, and I realise that I have been brooding again. That's not good. I must pull myself together, if only because of the danger that my suspicions might be right. So I go into the house and fetch the key. A glance at my smartphone, 3 messages from Iga. We head for the last cabin. That is where the forest starts, a wilderness with bears and wolves that flee from the tourists during the summer. They will soon come closer again. Iga thinks it is predictable, a question of probability. Even though she wanted to stop constantly scrutinising everything, there are some things a person can't defend themselves from. The leaves on the trees glint in the sunlight. Martin follows me without raising any objections. I'll take it, he says straight away. How much? 10 euros a night. He nods and reaches for the wallet in his trouser pocket. And food? He points to my house. Yes, I say, there's food in the evenings, if you let me know in advance. You're the only guest at the moment. I pocket the money, then I turn around and go. I'm terribly hot, t-shirt and flannel shirt wet through. His gaze at my back tears my skin open and exposes the nerves. I have learned to love this life and no longer want to give it up. Who would have thought it? 20 years ago, I had a very different opinion. The campsite on the hill, surrounded by little mountains, like a fortress. The deer that comes every morning and the wolves in winter. The autumn, when the wolves teach their cubs how to hunt, and Iga and I watch them from our hide. Iga especially loves the wolves. Since Jacob was 10, he has been allowed to come too. The female wolf now lets us come within 5 meters of the cubs before she raises her hackles and bares her teeth. She has got used to us. She has learned that we are not a threat to her.